Good morning, BA community. I am your host, Rhonda Klch, and today I am bringing on a special guest, my friend Forrest Hayes, who happens to be the Chief Growth Officer for Chang Robotics. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Rhonda. I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I love waking you up so that we can get our content in. So I obviously have a personal relationship with you, but one of the things that we never speak about is what's actually happening in your business life. I can tell you what's happening at home, right, but I can't tell you what's happening at work. So you have so many amazing moving parts with Chang Robotics since the last time we spoke. So why don't you give us a quick update on that?
Where to start? Well, first thing is we're off to a very, very good year, and we're expecting to see revenues climb 3 to 5x over last year, which is amazing. And we've also got an acquisition strategy that we've been putting together called 10X, 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 which is 10 companies in 10 quarters to 10X our enterprise value. The thesis behind that strategy is very simple. It's acquiring the top and best engineers that fit our culture that we've been working with over the past several years, who are also subcontractors, and to bring them into the Chang Robotics family and to then go out and deliver quality work for the Fortune 500 is where the super cycle story begins.
You know, one of the things I'm listening to is not about the amount of people and businesses, but I'm automatically thinking, how are you qualifying and what determines that you are screening the best of the best?
Well, you can judge by their client base typically, because they are the best of the best and they've been doing it for 20 plus years. And so when you have major brands that are household names that are in most everybody's refrigerator or closet or pantry, then you can just tell. And they have these, what's called a master service agreement in the industry, where they are the engineer by default and they do all the design work for them. So anything that they're doing, they go to them first. And as part of Chang Robotics philosophy, we want to know our clients intimately, more so than themselves. So like we will know the details of how things work because we've designed it, we've installed it, we're supporting it. It's all of those wonderful things.
You know, Chang Robotics is a growing fund. It's a growing business.
Yep.
Matt is at the helm of all of that, right? You know, he's
Correct.
not here today. What do you think his superpower is, and why do people attract to Chang Robotics?
Great question. I asked him that actually once. So the one word he gave me was prophecy. So he has this ability to envision and see the future in such a capacity and with such firm belief that it's convicting. And at first I didn't know how to exactly interpret it or digest it. But after working with him over the last 2+ years, it's very clear to me that he has a very strong vision beyond what I would call just the ability to manifest things. It's just so crystal clear in his mind. And when we started thinking bigger, just dreaming bigger, all of a sudden what we're doing is now happening is such an amazing feeling that it's hard to describe because it's palpable. And everything we've talked about for 2 years is literally here now and it's happening.
I find so much respect in that because as you and I know, we both work with a lot of emerging fund managers and people that have big visions, but they don't have the ecosystem or the strength to actually deliver. What do you think it is about Matt and Chang Robotics that investors should know?
His ability to attract and retain talent, his ability to attract and retain clients, and his ability to deliver. He guarantees his work. So for example, with one of the largest clinics in the country, he built a nurse bot. It's called Carebotics. And essentially he said, well, what's the delivery time? Like, what's the metric? What's the one thing that you need? And how many seconds does it need to be there? And they said 90 seconds. Okay. I said, okay. And he beat it. So when a nurse hits her iPhone or iPad and the Carebot comes to the room, it'll be there in 88 seconds. It's incredible.
I've seen some of the videos,
right.
And every now and again I see not just something that Chang Robotics may have produced, but even something else technology.
Yes.
And in my mind, I now automatically relate that to there was somebody with that skill set that actually produced and delivered that quality product.
Yeah.
You know, when we are talking about the growth and there's been so many changes in the industry and market fluctuations, how do you protect your investors and how do you communicate with them in reference to some of these changes? And do they have a say in what your bigger vision is?
So when it comes to communication, it's quarterly. We try and provide an update. And we also do some other thought leadership. I'm writing a macro piece at the moment that goes through the forces that I'm seeing in the industry, in the marketplace, and what is the definition of a super cycle, which we can talk about in a minute. Mm-hmm. And from there, their feedback does help sharpen our pencil for sure. We're always available, email, phone call. It's not an issue ever. And we will be building out an investor relations team on top of it. We do have broad aspirations, as you can probably guess, as we scale towards $100 million in revenue and $1 billion enterprise valuation.
It sounds so sexy.
It is. And it's fun too. We're doing God's work. It's kingdom impact work. We're a Christian-based company. We tie 10% off of our EBITDA. And, the world needs some good news. And we're part of that story.
Is your super cycle part of that good news?
It is. And it's something I've been a part of before when I lived in Singapore back in 2010 to 2017. There was a commodity super cycle that occurred. And I had the pleasure of working with brilliant minds like William Oswald, who's over at GIC now. And they helped write this research book on the super cycle for commodities. And they were right. And it was amazing to see. So I've got intimate, detailed background history on what the super cycle is and what it feels like, how to surf that giant wave. And when you look at what that definition is, it's been teed up perfectly. I can't ask for anything more than what the good Lord has already given me. So when you look at, for example, the Fortune 500, they've already committed $3 trillion in capital expenditures in reshoring manufacturing to this country. That's a huge number. You know how long it's going to take to deploy that? So we're in the first, second inning of a 10-year bull run on CapEx spend with the Fortune 500. That is spectacular. So let's just call that $3 trillion, which is what's been publicly committed. Then you've got another $18 trillion that the Trump administration has raised from FDI, foreign direct investment. All these other foreign companies who don't want to have tariffs want to build here too. So now you've got this amalgamation of international companies who don't want to face tariffs in the United States and rather build here, and US companies who are reshoring. So you're going to see somewhere between 3 and let's call it $20 trillion spent. That's the beachhead. So then you get into, what about policy, for example? Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad you asked. Yeah. So Matt Chang helped write and contribute to Section 232, which is the tariff policy on robotics. So behind that tariff policy is a new act called the American Robotic Securities Act, which basically is banning all Chinese robots at the government level. And so they've already done that with drones. Now they're doing it with robots. So they're building the moat for us, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so as you go deeper into each of the tariffs and you go down to each of the kind of sub forces that are driving this super cycle, it's now a protectionist cycle as well. And then you get into the fun things like taxes. You got the big, beautiful bill, right? You've got the CHIPS Act. You have all of these other supportive policies that allow accelerated depreciation, R&D write-offs, things that encourage and incentivize companies to do the needful, which is reshore, build automated factories.
I love that. For a minute there, I'm going to say, I almost have nothing to say, but
no way.
You know me better than that. Yeah. So it sounds as if I love everything that you just said. But again, I'm thinking it's an enormous amount of responsibility.
It is. And thank you for bringing that up. So there's a human element to this. Mm-hmm. And so the last force that I was going to save for this moment is the fact that we've reshored, I think, 244,000 manufacturing jobs in 2024, if my data and my memory serve me as correct. The problem is, even when we are reshoring all of these jobs, there's a 2.1 million person shortage, according to the National Manufacturers Association. So we've got this scarcity of human labor to support the growth. So that we have to automate. Now, automation doesn't mean elimination when it comes to human beings and jobs. One of the, I guess, crass or crude ways of saying is we just want to get the arses and elbows out of the way so people don't get hurt, because we're building big, heavy machinery and equipment, 30-foot robotic arms, things that move things quickly and automate them and wrap them. So you just want to get the people in the right roles. So we have to retrain, redeploy, and get them in the right seats, because this is happening whether people like it or not. And as Christians, we are faithful and devout to supporting individuals retooling, rekitting, and being redeployed. It's not about just saving jobs and saving money. It's about getting the right people in the right roles with the right equipment and machinery so that we can compete globally.
Do you think that the next generation of, I will say, graduates coming out of college, are they like, what is your avatar for where you can recruit?
Good question. So I've got a 21-year-old son who's a junior down at North Carolina State University, and he and I talk a lot about the skills that he needs. So you've got to learn, all the different platforms when it comes to artificial intelligence. You got to learn a foreign language. He happens to speak Mandarin Chinese, for example, but he grew up over there, so it's a little different. It's not an easy language to pick up. I couldn't do it. Anyway, and also just a broad business knowledge, preferably international business, understanding how things work, cross-border, trade, foreign currencies, taxes. To me, it's just finance. And that's not going away. Now, some of the jobs associated with that will, but to me, being an entrepreneur is what this country was built on and what it's built for. So where we recruit, it would be the engineering schools. Colorado School of Mines is actually a great school. We really like that school. Don't take our people. It's one of those things where, they're producing really high quality engineers out there. So that's top of mind. And then, of course, you got the usual suspects out there, Georgia Tech, Met's, alma mater. I have to give that shout out. And then, of course, you got MIT and all these other cool places that do amazing, talented work. But the number of quality engineers out there, in order to have the experience and where we're at and the runway that we're taking off from, we've got a multi-year head start. So it's going to be tough to catch us.
What can the BA community do to continue to support Chang Robotics?
Good question. It's the network effect. It's the ability to find the right people for the right time and the right roles. You've been a friend. Stephen Hall has been a friend. What that means, just being in the right place at the right time to help us either connect or get whatever it is that we need done. So, Stephen Hall is a tax expert. He's been helping us with things like that. Cheryl O'Connor, PR. And the list goes on. There's probably a dozen people in there that have either contributed, supported, advised, or cut a check. So any and all of the above. We love it. We love this community. It's special to Matt. He's been going on 5 years. This is year 2, going on 3 for me. I've met wonderful people like yourself. And we've done business with like dozens of people here. So it's a really good group of people.
If somebody watching, whether it be inside the BA community or outside of the community, is interested in learning more, what would be the best way for them to either get information or connect? So the first thing is to understand kind of the macro backdrop. I'm a firm believer of kind of understanding what the landscape looks like and what you're playing in, no matter what it is. So in this case, we're talking about advanced manufacturing or robotics. A lot of people love reading up on AI, even though it's exhausting at this stage. But to me, it's that macro backdrop. There's a lot of good email services that summarize this. So I follow this one. I can't remember the name of it. It just shows up every day. And you get the top news stories on everything robotics. So you can customize this now in any AI platform. And it's brilliant. So that gives you the macro backdrop. And then you can actually apply it to the company and look for opportunities and where people are making other public announcements about capital expenditures so that you can pick up the phone and get a lead or get a referral. Is there anybody that you're looking to connect with?
people within the Trump administration, the DOD. So with what they're doing and how they're going to do it when it comes to manufacturing and automating drones and other, what I would call federal mandated or critical supply chains, that's us. So we're helping, for example, with rare earth minerals and helping rebuild that supply chain. It's in everything that we own.
Would not have even have thought about that.
Right. Exactly. Why would you? So yeah, we're trying to do critical infrastructure when it comes to things like that, retrofitting a brownfield, meaning an existing facility, and then building a greenfield and envisioning what that's going to be for a generation. We're also in the process of looking at building the first aluminum smelting plant in the last 40 years. So we figured out how to meet the EPA standards and requirements, and we are getting the go ahead and start building that so that we can produce our own aluminum in this country, because we've outsourced all of that to our friends overseas.
I think one of the misconceptions is that you're speaking about an intense amount of diversity that happens inside of a robotics ecosystem. And what I could see is people, when they hear the word robotics, thinking about arms and little moving people.
Yeah, we're not doing humanoids. We're doing industrial automation. So when Matt and I have this debate all the time, it's actually quite fun because he gets annoyed by me and it. But it's like, what's the problem solving? Like, what problem are you solving with a humanoid? Like, what's the point? So it can dance, so it can run, so it can do a backflip. Great. Now what? Is it here to entertain us? I mean, the whole point is that humanoids will find their place in their roles, but they don't need to look and walk and talk like a person. It can just be arms folding laundry in a Ritz-Carlton, which is where we're sitting today, so that, the sheets and the pillowcases and the towels can all move away quicker, and you don't have somebody doing a monotonous task that winds up hurting their elbow or something weird. I don't know. It's just like, figure out ways to put it into practical use, and don't just build it for the sake of building it. Because if you saw the news article from last week where Figure AI had to pull out their BMW robots that were moving sheet metal from one place to the other, the statistics and the numbers and the results weren't, I think, what people were expecting. So when you go out and talk to experts who are investing deeply into this, they're saying it's somewhere between 5 and 10 years out. I don't know. Technology changes pretty quickly. I think that there'll be a base use case for something simple that will start the kind of domino effect, but trying to replace human beings in automobile manufacturing facilities, it's going to take a minute.
The other thing that I think about when we're speaking about this topic is, the next visionary. Like, how do you find that? I don't want to use the word talent based on engineering, but the next Matt Chang. If somebody is the next Matt Chang, listening and watching, how do you bring them into your culture and ecosystem and give them opportunity?
It's funny. Matt's very approachable.
Yes.
And people just call him. People jump on a plane and fly and go see him. They just show up. Matt's a big fan of getting on a plane and showing up. Meet him wherever he's at. Organize lunch, coffee, whatever. He loves that. He loves talking and mentoring.
I think people are afraid of the collaboration. They feel like it is more competition than collaboration when you get to a certain level.
Get over it.
Get over it and call Matt Chang.
Yeah, get over it. Like, it's one of those things where you've got a visionary working. We are industry agnostic. So we've talked about everything from healthcare to rare earth mineral supply chains to aluminum. Never mind all the consumer products that we're working on. There'll be beverage products, bicycles, kit. We're working on literally some of the coolest things out there, and the industry doesn't matter because we're building it and customizing it to your product, to your need.
I love it.
Like any factory, 80% of it's going to be about the same. It's that last 20% where we create that intellectual property. That's the flywheel that we're creating that we own. And that's how Carebotics is spun out of it. That's how GoEco is spun out of it. It's amazing. So we've got a dozen patents and we'll have a dozen more, and we will own that. And that's the piece that's kind of like the card up our sleeve, or the ace in our sleeve, ace in the hole type of thing. whatever the euphemism is.
Whatever it may
Whatever.
be. Well, with that said, once again, we are sitting with Forrest Hayes. Thank you, BA community, for being such an amazing support to talent such as Chang Robotics and to support other entrepreneurs that are on their journey. So until next time, stay safe, stay tuned, and we'll see you soon.